Banger after banger.
What's going on, guys? It's your boy Big Hero Chris back at you with another one. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe, leave me a thumbs up, ring that notification bell. Hit me up on Twitter X, Malcolm X, Weapon X, the X-Men, X-Force, X Factor, TikTok, community posts, wherever you can find me, just hit me up, man. And it's a time for celebration because not only do we have 200 episodes of AEW Dynamite, congratulations to AEW, but congratulations are also in order for the Elite, who have announced that they have re-signed with AEW. Good win all around, man, because who honestly thought was the Elite was going to go anywhere else but stay with AEW, man? Nobody really thought that the Elite were going to WWE, honestly. But yeah, man, good news for the Elite, good news for AEW. And seeing as this is the 200th episode, man, this was a good episode, man. It had a really throwback feel to it, and it's kind of weird to say that AEW Dynamite has a throwback or vintage feel to it, because even from the intro, like, they took it back old school with the kind of the OG entrance or the OG intro with the powdery rainbowy type gimmick that they have for the intro. They even had the tunnel entrance ways for the heels and the face, so that was pretty cool, man. Kind of a vintage Dynamite feel, and no better way to start off this episode of Dynamite than with the Ocho Le Champion, the demo god, Chris Jericho himself, competing in tag team action with Konosuke Takeshita, taking on the team of Daniel Garcia and Sammy Guevara. And this was interesting because you had Jericho playing the role of the conflicted stepdad, having to fight his own children, and Sammy and Daniel. And you had Chris Jericho cheating a little bit. Him and Takeshita was cheating, using some underhanded tactics to get the upper hand during this match. But the interesting part came at the end, where Daniel Garcia had Chris Jericho locked in the Dragon Tamer, and the referee was distracted, and you had Don Callis hitting Daniel Garcia in the face with Floyd the baseball bat. And Chris Jericho saw this, and he was kind of conflicted. He was kind of like, yo, man, what are you doing? And Don Callis was like, pin him, stop talking to me and pin him, get the win. And Chris Jericho went for it. He got the win for his team. And, Chris Jericho looked kind of conflicted, like, yo, what have I done? I betrayed my stepsons. I betrayed my children. But Don Callis was being the slimy, bald-headed heel that he is, saying, yay, Chris Jericho, you did it. You're the greatest Canadian of all time. And this led to a backstage segment where Chris Jericho was about to talk to Renee Paquette. Daddy Magic pulled up and was like, yo, man, next week we gotta have a mandatory Jericho Appreciation Society meeting. And this was kind of like a throwback to how the Inner Circle and Jericho Appreciation Society would do this thing, where they would say, you know what, there's a lot going on with the JAS or the Inner Circle, we need to handle this next week. So it's going to be a mandatory meeting for the Jericho Appreciation Society, talking about the shenanigans going on with Chris Jericho and Don Callis. You had a backstage segment with Tony Khan, and I was thinking that he was going to say something like about All Out or All In or both, but nah, this was really him, hyping up the fact that AEW's been around for this whole time, 200 episodes, and he kind of showed clips of just some of the coolest moments in AEW. And some of my favorite moments were the way Brody Lee was introduced as the Exalted One, and of course the Brody Lee tribute. Some of the ultimately cool moments in AEW's history, so nothing too major, but more of a celebration of AEW's history on Dynamite. So next up, we had the big face-to-face. We had Jungle Boy, my bad, not Jungle Boy, we had Jack Perry come out, and he called out Jerry Lynn. He was like, listen, Jerry Lynn, I'm ready to wrestle, I'm ready to compete, I'm ready to put you in the dirt, old man, come on out here, Jerry Lynn. And then Jerry Lynn came out and was like, listen, I'm old, my neck's cooked, I can't do this anymore, no doctor is going to clear me, but I have a friend that I used to compete with, in ACW, who I used to wrestle against, you may have known him as Mr. Monday Night, Mr. Pay-Per-View, the whole effing show. Rob Van Dam is officially in AEW. Now, we didn't get an RVD as All Elite graphic, but what we did get was RVD laying out the challenge for Jungle Boy Jack Perry next week for the FTW Championship. I was thinking this would happen at All In, but we just gotta settle for it being a next week type thing. We don't know what RVD has going on in the future, but next week RVD makes his in-ring debut in AEW, competing for the FTW Championship against Jack Perry. And the funny part about this whole segment was RVD made his way to the ring. He was about to lay hands on Jack Perry. Jack Perry dipped out, jumped over the guardrail, and hid in the crowd. He hid behind a little small child, So that was pretty funny. But another thing we got was the triple threat match between Trent, Penta, and Jon Moxley in an anything goes match. And this was everything I expected to be and a little bit more. You got thumbtacks, you got barbed wire pieces of wood, you got tables, you got topes and Canadian destroyers through tables. I'm like, yo, this match is crazy. And the craziest part about this whole thing was the fact that Trent won. That's right, that Trent from Best Friends got the win over Penta. And then after the match, you had the Blackpool Combat Club come out. Then you had Best Friends come out. And then they started to fight. They started to brawl a little bit. And then Chuck Taylor got on the microphone and said, listen, this whole triple threat match didn't solve anything. We got to settle this the only way we know how. This Friday on Rampage, it's going to be a parking lot brawl. Best Friends taking on the BCC in a parking lot brawl match. Same match that they competed against the Santana and Ortiz, and probably one of my favorite AEW televised matches. Is gonna go down this Friday on Rampage, so gives me kind of sort of a reason to watch, but other than that, I wasn't really gonna check out Rampage, but I'll check it out for Best Friends taking on the BCC in the parking lot brawl. All right, so finally we got something. We got a match announced for All In. It's gonna be the main event. It's gonna be MJF. It's gonna be Adam Cole. It was made official. MJF came out, and he was really playing the role of babyface. He came out and he was like, listen, man, we kind of went through this whole backstory with MJF before, but it was kind of through evil means, of getting the upper hand against CM Punk. This felt more genuine, felt more from the heart. We've heard kind of sort of this story before about how MJF has ADD and how, he's been ridiculed as a child for being Jewish, and he had to deal with being bullied and for having ADD, and this whole thing. But MJF kind of went more into this, and it was kind of like him explaining why he is the way he is and why he really pushes people away, because it's like, listen, I don't want to be hurt again. I don't want to feel the way I did when I was a kid. That's why I ended up turning on people first before they can get to me. And it really took the AEW Galaxy to really get through to MJF. And not only that, it took Adam Cole to help MJF realize that, maybe he is a good person, even though he's a complete dick. So MJF called out Adam Cole. Adam Cole came out to the ring, told MJF how proud he was about the man he's becoming, about how he's becoming a good person. And like I said, the match was made official. The main event for All In is going to be MJF versus Adam Cole. MJF presented Adam Cole with the contract. And the thing people were chanting was read the contract first. Adam Cole didn't read the contract. He just signed it. And it's like, listen, I'm assuming he signed it because, he's trusting MJF. Which I say you don't trust MJF, even though he's a good person, quote unquote. It's still MJF. I don't know what the context of the contract was, but it's official. Adam Cole, MJF for the AEW Championship. And it was funny because it cut to backstage. It cut to dumbass Roderick Strong with his neck brace, looking like the biggest goof of all goofs, throwing a hissy fit, throwing a temper tantrum because Adam Cole has more than one friend, I guess. And then, speaking of more than one friend, you cut to Adam Cole's former friends, former group mates, former tag team partners in the Kingdom pulling up to Roderick Strong saying, listen, we're kind of Adam Cole's friends too, man. Sucks for you, buddy. And they walk off. So where is this leading to? You have the Kingdom showing up on Dynamite. You have Roderick Strong throwing a hissy fit. Adam Cole signing contract he didn't read. What is really going on? But we do have a match for All In. So it's a start. Alright, so like I mentioned earlier, you had the Elite announce that they are indeed have re-signed with AEW, and they had a trios match taking on Jeff Jarrett, Jay Lethal, and Satnam Singh. And when this match was announced, I was like, I was kind of disappointed in myself for how excited I was for this match, because I never in a million years thought that I would see a face-off between Kenny Omega and Jeff Jarrett, or Matt Jackson and Satnam Singh. But we got that in this trios match, and honestly, it was just fun. It was just really fun. You had Team Jarrett doing the Elite pose. You had the Hardy Boys coming out and hitting the Sanjay Dutt with the Twist of Fate for some reason. You had Adam Page hitting the Buckshot Lariat on Jeff Jarrett. Like I said, it was an overall fun match. And then after the match, the Elite said that they were signed. You can see a lot more of them on AEW Dynamite, Rampage, Ring of Honor, and even Collision, which is pretty big, because if you follow what's going on the internet, you kind of were led to believe that Dynamite will be more of the Elite show and Collision will be more of the CM Punk show. But maybe we're starting to see, worlds collide. You start to see the multiverse come together. Maybe you see Kenny Omega show up on Collision. Maybe you see CM Punk show up on Dynamite a little bit more. Who knows? But this is pretty exciting. This is pretty interesting for AEW going forward. Now. See, last week we had AR Fox turn heel and join up with the Mogul Embassy. And I was like, okay, this is going to be pretty cool. We're going to get to see more AR Fox on television. Hopefully more Swerve on television. And we definitely got that on this episode of Dynamite, because you had a backstage segment with AR Fox kind of explaining why he did what he did to Darby Allin. And because Darby Allin made this big deal of how, AR Fox took him in when he was homeless, when he was training. And AR Fox was like, yeah, I did take you in. And then after that, I haven't heard from you in 5 years until you pulled up to AEW. And I'm like, yo, you don't know how to pick up a phone. You don't know how to send a text. You don't know how to send a carrier pigeon. None of that. So then Swerve was like, yo, I'm doing big things. I'm even making movies. So they cut to another video of AR Fox and AR Fox and Swerve pulling up to Nick Wayne's house. Like, they bust in to where he's training at in his backyard. They just tear his ring apart. They beat up whoever he's training with. They beat up Nick Wayne. They bust him wide open. And this felt like something straight out of Lucha Underground. Like, it felt like a combination of Lucha Underground, the NXT parking lot, and Dynamite all rolled up into one. You even had Swerve pretty much holding Nick Wayne hostage, saying, listen, call Darby Allin, and he did. And Darby Allin was on the phone like, hey, what's up, Nick? And Swerve was like, nah, it's not Darby, it's not Nick Wayne, it's Swerve. And they pretty much laid it out like, listen, man, we did this to your boy, we're coming for you next. So violence, Mogul Embassy, Shiesty Mess, Black Air Force One energy, man. I'm digging it, man. I'm loving the heel turn. I'm loving the Mogul Embassy. Loving the heel turn from AR Fox. This is gonna be awesome. Hopefully this leads to a tag team match. Swerve and AR Fox taking on Darby and Nick Wayne. Hopefully at All In or All Out, or maybe Dynamite or Collision or Ring of Honor. I don't know, but I just want to see the tag team match. Speaking of tag team match, you had Aussie Open taking on Vikingo and Commander. And this was a fun match, but I was thinking, like, yo, they could have saved this for Ring of Honor. I know a lot of people are big on Aussie Open. I'm not too familiar with them. I was like, this could have been on Ring of Honor or even on Rampage, It is what it is. It was fine for what it was worth, I wasn't really paying too much attention. Aussie Open won. There were a whole bunch of flips and dives and, walking the ropes and springboards and moonsaults and 450s. Like I said, Aussie Open won. This could have been on Ring of Honor. But, good for people who did enjoy it. Good for the Aussie Open fans. Good for the Ring of Honor fans. I didn't necessarily care for it. What I did care for was the main event between Hikaru Shida and Toni Storm. And congratulations are once again in order, because Hikaru Shida is the new AEW Women's Champion. This is pretty big business, man, because they did do a good job on commentary and throughout the show hyping up the fact that Shida was the women's champion, but this was during the pandemic, so she was really performing in front of nobody besides, the people that were in Daly's place. Mostly it was AEW wrestlers or some of the people who could, make it out to Daly's place, but it wasn't packed out venues. It wasn't in front of an actual AEW crowd. So this is a big piece of business for Hikaru Shida. Who knows? This might even set up a rematch between Shida and Toni Storm, but this is really cool. I'm really happy for Shida. The match was awesome. Big business. New AEW Women's Champion, so I can't really complain too much. As far as an episode of Dynamite goes, this was really fun. A really good episode of Dynamite. Doing little baby steps, building towards All In, so I can't really complain too much. I don't really have any complaints at all outside of the Ring of Honor tag team match, so I gotta give the show an honorary W. You already know how this goes, man. What are your thoughts? What was your favorite match? Also, let me know some of your favorite moments in AEW history, in AEW Dynamite history, man. Just let me know in the comment section below. What did you think of this week's episode of Dynamite? Let me know, man. Of course, as always, like, comment, and subscribe. You guys take care. Bees. I'm out. Peace.